Imagine you're kicking back on a beach somewhere in Florida, much like this dude. You're in the middle of a nice snooze, when all of a sudden you hear somebody scream, "Alligator!" Awaking suddenly, you catch a glimpse of the reptilian fiend. And before you sprint away in terror, you pause for just enough time to correct the bearer of the bad news, saying, "Actually, that's a crocodile." Now, I've seen enough episodes of the show Swamp People to know the difference. But it's time for you to learn, and I'm going to teach you, indirectly, though. The difference between the two main crocodilian species can be illustrated through their general evolution as well as the characteristics resulting from this evolution. To take these into account, however, we must look at the evolutionary causes of these traits. Alligators and crocodiles look like modern dinosaurs. And well, they really are. Leonard Lee Roux III, a well-known wildlife writer and photographer, explains about some of the history of crocodilians in his books Alligators and Crocodiles, A Portrait of the Modern World. He says that in the Triassic period of history, about 210 million years ago, a reptile named Pterostricus, sounds much like a Harry Potter spell, appeared bearing the traits of the present-day crocodiles and alligators. And he also mentions a reptile named Desmatosuchus, which was larger and appeared at the same time period. And as you can see, they have a flattened tail, and they also have a secondary palate in their mouth to keep water out when their mouth is open, much like modern crocodiles and alligators today. Both were part of the evolutionary stage called proto-Suchians, says researcher, engineer, and author of the evolution section in the book Crocodiles and Alligators. Eric Buffetot, which is only the first of three evolutionary stages. And the three evolutionary stages, if we had enough room on the board, I would draw them out. But they're based on the head shapes. And in the tertiary period, the head shapes go really wide to very narrow. And then in the next stage, they start out thin and go even thinner. And then in the third stage, it comes to the modern head shape, which is just kind of a round like that. And the other two stages are actually called Mesosuchians and Eusasuchians. And Eusasuchians are like what we have today, modern alligators and crocodiles. There's many gaps in the evolution of alligators and crocodiles as separate species, and that's. But what's known through their differences is based on their locational differences and adaptations. For example, alligators can withstand wider temperature variations, which when earlier in history, when the temperature started to drop, they could withstand it easier, and they could stay in their area and adapt to that. The main physical difference between alligators and crocodiles is one will see you later, and the other will see you in a while. Took a while.
See you later.
Took a while. In the book Discover the Differences Between Alligators and Crocodiles, Meg Doyle, who's written numerous books on other kinds of animals, explains many diverse differences between the pair of reptiles, including physical locations and also behavioral and locational. The bottom teeth of the alligator all fit inside the upper jaw. And see, this is the alligator up here, as you can see. And there's a fourth tooth right here that goes up inside of it. But on the crocodile, it stands out on the outside, like so. To me, the crocodile looks a bit scarier and kind of reminds me of the Joker. And for the skin, they both have sensory organs on them to help them, quote unquote, see underwater. And they appear as black dots on the skin. However, alligators only have them on their jaw, while crocodiles have them all over. The alligator's tail has spines running down it, as you can see down there. That it's not as there's not as many spines, but on the crocodile, they're pointed outward and there's more of them, and it seems more dinosaur-like. Alligators are located in Florida, in the southern tip of Mexico, the northeastern majority of South America, and the easternmost water-bordered side of China. Crocodiles are located in Florida also, and also the northern tip of South America, the southern tip of Mexico, northern Australia, and the southern part of Asia. Their behaviors are a little different. Both alligators and crocodiles lie in the sun for warmth, and they lie in the water to be cool. The difference, though, lies in the fact that alligators also dig holes to keep cool, and sometimes to mate. And when the alligator leaves its hole, it actually, other animals are able to use it for shelter. And the nests of the alligators are made of vegetation and mud, and are made near the water, while the crocodile's nests are made from mud and sand, and that's mostly due to locational differences as well. The alligator eggs are usually laid in groups of 20 to 50 and take around 2 months to hatch, and the mom takes care of the nest. Crocodile eggs are laid in larger groups of 30 to 50, and they take around 3 months to hatch, and both parents watch the nest. And so as you can see, evolution is a huge part of the animal they are today. Their differences in location, physical traits, and behaviors are just enough of a difference to be noticeable. So in applying it to the story, the person who yelled alligator could have used this situationally useless information to avoid later embarrassment from friends, family, and strangers. But now that you know this information, you can be the knowledgeable and cowardly character who knew the difference. Thank you.